Sit down. I mean it. Wherever you are right now, in your car, in your kitchen, on the edge of your bed at 2 in the morning, I need you to stop moving. Because what I'm about to tell you isn't the kind of word you receive standing up. God is saying something to you today. And He's not whispering anymore. He's not sending it through a friend, through a sermon, through a song on the radio that suddenly felt too personal. No. This time, He came Himself. And He's telling you to sit down, because what's about to happen in your life will shake every foundation you thought was solid. Every relationship you built on shaky ground, it's going to tremble. Every job you held on to, out of fear, it's going to tremble. Every identity you wore just to fit in, that too. It's all going to tremble. And listen, I know that sounds heavy. I know part of you is already bracing, already tightening your shoulders, already asking, God, why me? Why now? But I need you to hear me clearly. What God is about to shake was never yours to begin with. He's not taking from you. He's removing what was never supposed to stay. There's a difference. And before this video ends, you're going to understand it in a way you've never understood it before. My name is George. And if you've landed here today, if the algorithm somehow pushed this exact message into your exact feed on this exact day, that wasn't a coincidence. That was a summons. Heaven has an appointment with you. And I'm just the voice heaven is using to deliver the papers. So breathe, sit, and let's walk through this together. Because the first thing you need to understand is this. When God decides to shake a life, He never does it out of cruelty. He does it out of love. Fierce, unflinching, refining love. The kind of love that refuses to leave you where you are. Because where you are is smaller than where He's taking you. Think about a farmer for a moment. A good farmer. The kind your grandfather might have been. When he walks into his field at the end of the season, he doesn't tiptoe around the crop. He brings tools. He brings fire. He brings the threshing floor. Because he knows that the grain, the real thing, the substance, the reason for all the work, is trapped inside a shell. And the only way to free the grain is to shake it loose. He beats it. He tosses it in the wind. He separates. And to somebody watching from the outside, it might look like he's destroying his own harvest. But he's not. He's revealing it. He's refusing to let the shell decide what the grain is worth. And when he's done, what's left on that threshing floor is pure, clean, ready to feed his family through the winter. That's what God is doing with you. You are the grain, and everything around you right now, the noise, the pressure, the relationships that drain you, the doors that keep closing, the prayers that seem to bounce off the ceiling, all of that is the shell. It was never the point. You were the point. And God is finally ready to separate the two. But here's what most people miss. The shaking doesn't feel like blessing while it's happening. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like you're the one thing wrong in a world that keeps moving forward without you. And that's exactly where the enemy loves to show up. Because when you're shaking, you're vulnerable. When you're shaking, you start listening to voices you'd normally tune out. So let me tell you what those voices are going to say. They're going to say, you must have done something wrong. They're going to say, God is punishing you. They're going to say, maybe you heard Him wrong all along. They're going to say, everyone else has their life together. What's wrong with you? Don't answer them. Don't even acknowledge them. Because those voices are not coming from heaven. Heaven never accuses you in the middle of your shaping. Heaven comforts you in it. Heaven reminds you why. And if you can hold on to the why in the middle of the shaking, you will come out the other side of this, holding something no one around you has. You will come out holding your real name. I want you to think about Jacob for a second. A man who spent most of his life running from his brother, running from his father's house, running from the version of himself he didn't want to face. And one night, out in the wilderness, God showed up, not as a whisper, not as a gentle breeze, but as a wrestler. A man who grabbed Jacob by the hip and refused to let go until morning. That wrestling match wasn't punishment, it was promotion. Because when Jacob limped out of that valley, he wasn't Jacob anymore. He was Israel, and the shaking he went through that night was the only thing that could have given him the name he was born to carry. Your shaking is not random. Your shaking is coronation. But I need you to stop fighting the hand that's holding you, because that's the second thing God wants you to hear today. He's saying, stop wrestling me like I'm your enemy. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to name you. And when I say name, I don't mean the name on your birth certificate. I mean the name heaven wrote over you before the foundations of the earth were laid. The name that makes demons tremble when it's spoken. The name that the people around you have never once called you by, because they've only ever known the surface of who you are. You've been walking through life wearing a label somebody else gave you. Maybe your father gave it to you when he walked out. Maybe your mother gave it to you in a moment of frustration that she never apologized for. Maybe a teacher gave it to you. A boss, an ex, a religious leader who should have known better. And you've been carrying that label like it was your skin. But chosen one, listen to me, it was never your skin. It was a sticker somebody slapped on you, and God is about to peel it off. And I won't lie to you, peeling hurts. There's going to be raw places where that label used to be. There's going to be a period where you don't even recognize yourself without it. But on the other side of that peeling is the real you, the you heaven has been waiting to release. Let me paint something for you. Imagine a man walking into a jeweler's shop with a stone in his pocket. A dirty, heavy, ugly-looking stone. He slams it on the counter, and he says, "How much is this worth?" And the jeweler picks it up, and he holds it in the light, and his eyes narrow just a little. And he says, "Sir, do you have any idea what you've been carrying?" That stone was a diamond, covered in mud, covered in years of being dragged through the dirt. Covered in fingerprints from people who handled it without knowing what it was. But underneath all of that, it was a diamond. It had always been a diamond. The mud didn't change what it was. It just hid it from the people who didn't have the eyes to see. You are that diamond. And God is the jeweler. And this shaking, this thing that feels like it's tearing your life apart, this is the cleaning. This is the polishing. This is the moment where every fingerprint, every smudge, every piece of mud that was never supposed to be on you is finally being wiped away. You will not come out of this season the same person who went into it. And thank God for that. Because the person who went into this season with all respect and love wasn't ready for what's coming next. Now let me tell you what's coming next. Because this is where it gets real. The foundations are shaking because new foundations are being laid. You can't pour new concrete on top of old, cracked concrete. You have to break it up. You have to haul it away. You have to clear the ground. And only then can the new structure rise. That's not destruction. That's construction. But in the middle of it, it can be hard to tell the difference. So if you're in a season right now where relationships are falling away, where doors are closing that you thought would never close, where you feel more alone than you've ever felt, I want you to hear me. That's not abandonment. That's architecture. Heaven is clearing the ground for something your old life could not have held. There's a reason Jesus said you can't put new wine in old wineskins. The old skin would burst. Not because the wine is too violent, but because the wine is too alive. And what God is about to pour into you is so alive, so full, so weighted with glory, that your old life, the old friendships, the old patterns, the old version of yourself could not contain it. So he's preparing new skin. He's preparing new people. He's preparing new ground. And all of that preparation looks like shaking from the inside. I want to tell you about a woman I once spoke with. She was in her late 40s. Her marriage had just ended after 22 years. Her oldest son had moved across the country and stopped calling. The job she'd held for 15 years had just let her go. And she sat in front of me, and she said, "George, I don't know who I am anymore. Everything I built my identity on is gone." And I remember looking at her and saying, "Ma'am, I know this is going to sound impossible to hear right now, but what if none of that was your identity to begin with? What if God just finally gave you the gift of losing the things that were loud enough to drown out His voice? she cried. Hard. Because on some level she already knew. The shaking wasn't taking anything from her that was really hers. It was taking the noise. It was taking the distraction. It was taking the borrowed identity she'd been renting for 22 years. And 18 months later, she wrote me. She had started something of her own. She was mentoring younger women in her church. She told me, and I'll never forget this, she said, "George, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm lighter. I'm me. I feel like I finally met the woman God was trying to introduce me to my whole life. That is what's on the other side of your shaking. But you have to stop grabbing at the pieces as they fall. I'm going to be blunt with you, because you deserve bluntness. Some of you are trying so hard to keep the old life together that you're actually prolonging the pain. You're running around catching plates that God is deliberately letting drop. You're trying to patch relationships that heaven told you months ago to release. You're trying to resuscitate dreams that were never your dreams to begin with. They were just dreams you inherited from somebody else. Stop. Let it fall. Trust that if it was yours, it will survive the shaking. And if it doesn't survive the shaking, it wasn't yours. That's a hard word, I know. But you didn't click on this video because you wanted soft words. You clicked because something in your spirit is already trembling, and you wanted somebody to tell you why. There are messages that pass through your eyes, and there are messages that pass through your spirit. If something in you recognized itself while watching, don't dismiss it. That is the spirit confirming what was already written. The secret protocol carries 7 keys that unveil what heaven deposited in you before you ever arrived, things no one around you has ever been able to name. It comes with the full audiobook for your moments of prayer, silence, and encounter with God. And you also receive the Awakening Map, the guide that illuminates the 5 seasons of spiritual awakening, revealing with precision exactly where you are and what comes next. The link is pinned in the first comment, but only for a limited time. Don't let this moment pass without a response. Now let's keep going, because there's more I need you to hear. The shaking has a purpose beyond you. This is the part most people never understand. They think the shaking is only about them, about their life, their breakthrough, their promotion. And yes, all of those things are in it. But the shaking is also about everyone who will come after you. Everyone who will need what you are about to become. You think Joseph's seasons in prison were only about Joseph? They were about an entire nation that was about to starve. They were about his brothers who would have died without the storehouses he built. They were about a prophecy planted in a boy who had to be crushed into a man before he could carry it. You are not being shaken just for you. You are being shaken for everyone who is about to depend on the person you become on the other side of this. There's a generation waiting for you. There's a marriage that needs the version of you that comes out of this valley. There's a child, maybe not even born yet, who needs the mother or father you will only become if you let heaven finish what it started. There are people who are going to walk into rooms in the next 5 years and sit across from you, and you will say one sentence, and their whole life will change because you will have become the kind of person whose one sentence can do that. But only because you were willing to sit down, right now, today, and let God shake the foundations. Don't resent the shaking. Get ready for the inheritance on the other side. Now I want to talk to the part of you that's tired. Because I know you. I know what it is to be a chosen one and to be this worn out. People look at you and think your life must be full of signs and wonders and constant breakthroughs. They don't see the nights. They don't see the prayers that feel like they hit the ceiling. They don't see the moments you sat in your car in the parking lot because you couldn't make yourself go inside one more time and smile through it. They don't see how heavy the calling gets when it feels like you're carrying it alone. I see you. And heaven sees you, and God is telling me to tell you He has not forgotten one single tear you've cried in secret. Not one. Every one of them was counted. Every one of them was held. Every one of them is about to become a seed that breaks open into the harvest you stopped believing in. But you have to sit down first. You have to let Him minister to you. You've been trying to minister to yourself, trying to preach yourself out of your own valley, trying to encourage yourself with verses that you've quoted so many times they've lost their taste. I know. I've been there too. But right now, in this moment, Stop preaching. Stop striving. Stop performing, even for yourself, and let your Father hold you. The shaking is not a rejection. The shaking is an embrace so tight it feels like pressure. He's not pushing you away. He's pulling you in closer than you've ever been. And the walls of your old life, they can't come with you into that embrace. They have to fall. That's all. That's why they're falling. Not because you failed. Not because you're cursed. Not because he's angry. But because he wants you closer. And the walls were in the way. So let them fall. Let the pretense fall. Let the pressure to perform fall. Let the approval of people who never truly knew you fall. Let the version of yourself you built just to survive your childhood, let that one fall too. And in the silence that follows, you're going to hear something you haven't heard in a long time. You're going to hear your real name, spoken by the one who gave it to you. And when you hear it, something inside you is going to rise. Not ambition, not strategy, not another self-improvement plan. Something deeper, something older, something that was written over your life before your mother ever knew she was carrying you. That is the real inheritance of a chosen one. Not a life without shaking, but a name that cannot be shaken, even when everything else trembles. Listen to me carefully now, because we're almost at the end, and I don't want you to miss this. The people around you may not understand what's happening to you right now. Some of them will call it a phase. Some will call it a breakdown. Some of them, and this will hurt, will turn their backs on you because the new you is too inconvenient for their old version of you. Let them. With love, let them. You cannot carry the expectations of people who never saw you into a future they weren't called to. But there are others, there are always others who will recognize you, who will look at you in this season and say, something is different about you, something I can't name. And those are the ones being sent to walk with you into the next chapter. The shaking doesn't just remove the wrong people, it also reveals the right ones. Pay attention. They're already being prepared. And your family, if your family doesn't get it yet, be patient. Some of them will. Some of them won't. But you were never chosen to be understood by everyone. You were chosen to be faithful to the one who knows you completely. So here's what I'm asking of you as we close. Sit. Just sit. Stop trying to figure out the timeline. Stop trying to manage God's process. Stop trying to rush the shaking so you can get to the peace. The peace is in the shaking, if you'll stop fighting it. The peace is in the surrender. The peace is in saying, God, whatever you need to shake, shake it. Whatever you need to take, take it. I trust you with the foundations. I trust you with the rebuilding. I trust you with me. Say that. Say it out loud if you can. Say it in your car. Say it in your kitchen. Say it on the edge of your bed at 2 in the morning when you can't sleep. Because a chosen one who can pray that prayer and mean it is a chosen one who cannot be stopped. You are not breaking. You are breaking open. And what's coming out of you is going to feed a generation. So before you scroll away, before you move on to the next thing, I need you to do one thing for me. Go down to the comments and tell me, what is the foundation that God has been shaking in your life right now? Name it. Don't be vague. Don't hide it behind pretty language. Tell me the thing that is trembling. The relationship. The job. The identity. The belief about yourself that's crumbling. Write it down, because the moment you name it, you take its power away and give it back to heaven. And then, while you're there, read the other comments. Because there's a chosen one somewhere in that thread who needs to see that they're not the only one in the valley tonight. Your words might be the confirmation heaven is sending them. I'll be reading every single one. And I'll be praying over every name that shows up in that thread. Because I truly believe, that God gathered you here today for a reason bigger than a video. He gathered you here to say it clearly, one more time, so you could never unhear it. Sit down, chosen one. What's coming will shake every foundation. But you were built for this moment. And on the other side of this shaking, you are going to stand taller, truer, and more alive than you have ever been in your entire life. I love you, and heaven loves you more than I ever could. Now go write your comment. Tell me what's trembling, and let's walk through this together.